everybody could please stand. Nancy, could you please introduce these wonderful kids?
Hi everyone, we have some great kids from Ward 2 right here. Can you all say your name, please?
Andrew, Nathan, Will, Harrison, Claire.
And they're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There goes our future Democrats. There's our future right there. We're indoctrinating them early and often. I also now would like to introduce you to the Norfolk County Sheriff, Patrick McDermott, who will now lead us in the in the national anthem. So if you could all again rise. Thank you, Patrick.
Please join. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good job, my friend, always. Okay, so if you haven't had breakfast, as I'm making a few introductions, please get seconds, because there's plenty, or help yourself to a wonderful buffet. I'd like to start this morning by thanking our master of ceremony, Michael Morrissey, for helping me out this morning. I'll tell you when you're up, Michael. Keep eating, keep eating. Everybody keep eating. I want to start with a few introductions. I want to first thank our event coordinator, Nancy Delisle, and her crew for putting on such a great breakfast this morning. Nancy, please stand. She's the granddaughter of Bob and Gloria Noble and daughter of Bill and Alicia Gardner. So it makes a lot of sense that she is now involved here. She's also our Ward 2 chair. I want to introduce you, and here are all our offices, and our ward chiefs are out there. Everybody's working this morning, but I do want to thank our vice chairs, Melissa Shapiro and Colin McMahon. Come on, guys. Melissa's the one with our raffles. Thank you so much. Our treasurer, Mike Perry. Thank you, Michael. He's sitting over here. We have our communication officer, Anna Duffy. You met her when you came in today. Thank you, Anna. Our policy officer is Suzanne Connery. Where is Suzanne this morning? Thank you, honey. Thanks very much. And our board chairs, Ward 1 is Mike Berry Sr. Thank you, Michael. You met Ward 2, Nancy Delisle. Ward 3 is Bob LaRocca. Please stand, Bob. Oh, he's out 40, Tom Fabrizio T-Back. Thank you, Thomas. Ward 5 is Courtney Madden. Courtney, stand up, please. Stop talking and say hello. Courtney Madden, stand up, please. Hello. Pay attention to your chair. There you go. And our Ward 6 chair, who's in Spain, he's traveling, is Dan Hacker. We thank him for all his work. What I'd also like to do now is, as a remembrance, we lost 2 dear members of our committee in this last year, Joanne Condon Walsh and Pauline Stanton. Thank the 2 of them for their friendship and their devotion to the Democratic Party for many years. At this time, I'd like to make a quick presentation to a former officer of this committee. She and her husband moved to Weymouth, which was a great loss to the city of Quincy, big gain for the town/city of Weymouth. Is our dear friend Winnie Peterson, and she was our recording secretary and took meticulous minutes all these years with us, and we'd like to recognize her and have her come up for one quick second. Winnie, where are you? They literally just got back from Hawaii for 2 weeks yesterday. I'm so jealous, but here you are, Winnie. We really sincerely thank you for everything you and John did for this committee over the years. So I would like to present you with a token of our appreciation. That is for you. And one more thing. Michael, now I could use your help. Where are you, Michael? Sorry. Right down behind me. Right there, hon, behind you. Please, thank you. Yay for Winnie. Thank you so much. Well, you were awesome. We miss you. Thank you, hon. All right, so I hope they're in the room or they're coming. We have a number of candidates from our statewide office. I am pleased to first introduce you a sister to one of our candidates. We're not going to do the speaking part right now, Tara, but I'd like to introduce Tara Healy. She's the sister of Laura. She came this morning. Thank you so much. Also, hopefully in the room shortly will be the mayor of Salem, Kim Driscoll. She is our candidate for lieutenant governor. Andrea Campbell, I understand, is here. She is our candidate for... Oh, great, you're right there. Attorney General. And Senator Diane DeZoglio is our candidate for state auditor. We thank you all for being here, and we will be listening to you very shortly. I now want to introduce and thank our state delegation, who are also sponsors of this event, Senator John Keenan. Thank you, John. Where are you? Come on, John, stand up. There you go. Rep. Chan, Kathy, woo-hoo! And Rep. Bruce, yes. Where are you, Bruce? Ward 6, thank you very much. Our county delegation is our MC, Michael Morrissey. And you know what? He'll do the rest of the county people. Here you go, Michael. I'm never going to get this mic back.
We actually have the entire Board of County Commissioners, including the Chairman, Joe Shea, former city clerk. Bruce Stady from Camden. Last but not least, the most important is Peter Collins. He's our Democratic nominee and incumbent county commissioner who needs a vote. He's on the ballot this year. Very quickly, I heard from my friend Shameless Sheriff Pat McDermott singing. And my friend, the county treasurer, is actually at a wedding out of state. So I'd also, you already got the delegation. And if I miss anybody, on the City Council School Committees. I didn't see you come in, so you better let us know during the program, but Chucky Phelan was introduced, Ward 5 Councilor. Members of the School Committee, Doug Metro, former City Councilor, current member of the School Committee. Former City Representative and Inspector General Bobby Sarasole. We'll get to the formal. So, many years ago, let's look at that.
Okay, we do have one more recognition that we would really want to bring to your attention this morning. And I'm going to have Michael introduce this fine human being in further words. But we would like to thank our state auditor, Suzanne Bung, for all her years of service for us. She's amazing. Yeah, stand up. Stand up. Oh, great. Michael has my. Oh, it's shorter than mine. Okay. Okay, here you go, Michael. She's a dear friend of yours, so this is so appropriate.
Susan and I worked many years ago in the State House together. She was legislative assistant for our good dear friend Bibbs Mateo. She rose to the ranks. She worked with the governor as a labor secretary. She had the misfortune of practicing law with me for a short time. And we served together in the legislature for a good number of years. She's always become quite successful and rose to the rank as our state auditor. She's a wonderful person, but more importantly, I think, if I'm maybe speaking out of turn, because I believe that I knew her husband very well, Paul McDevitt. Many people did. And Paul was a dear friend of many of us, but Paul was a leader in one of the big things that affects all of us every day, and that's substance abuse issues. And he runs a very successful company, which I'm hoping Suzanne is going to come in and play a more active role as she leaves state government. There's plenty of work to do, Suzanne, and we need someone like you with that leadership to help people who are struggling with opiate, substance abuse, alcohol issues. So I think it's, I just want to thank you for all your service, and if you want to come and say a few words, I'd love to have you. Don't worry about the ethics laws anyway, so we're all set.
Wow. Well, thank you for this quite unexpected honor, and thank you, Michael, for that introduction. Michael alluded to the years that we practiced law together. It was such a traumatic experience that I stopped practicing law. We're pulling. But I know you have a busy program. I just want to thank you for the relationships that we have had through the years and all of the things that we have committed ourselves to, and all that we have accomplished together. When I think back on my career in government, which actually started with Bibbs Mateo in 1979, and I reflect on all of the progress that we as Democratic Party members have been able to make in this state in terms of labor rights and human rights and women's rights. It's really been phenomenal, and I have been really gratified to be a part of that, and I look forward to continuing that kind of work on behalf of the people of the Commonwealth, side by side with you in the years to come. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Alicia's big on flowers these days.
I'm big on flowers, and they're everything. So thank you for everything. And just because you're leaving elected office, we would love to see you at our breakfasts. I don't think she's missed a breakfast. And Dr. Quincy Debs really appreciate your support. So we'd love to have you back anytime.
See that Noel DeBona, City Councilor, is down the back of the room. Greg Hanley, the town manager, the Plymouth County Commissioner as well, former city council person. I know some of the statewide candidates actually have been elected to go to, so I'm going to try to see Kim is here, see Andre is here.
Look right there, it's correct.
Well, Diana, but in the orders here, if Kim is ready, Tara Healy is the executive director of the Healy campaign, but more importantly, it's only a couple weeks away, so we all need your help.
Just wanted to take a moment to thank you. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for all the work that you've done. It's really critical. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to leave it all and be able to get it done. And we're counting on each and every one of you to talk to your neighbors and your family and friends and just help us get the vote out. I think we're in a unique place right now where we're in a good spot, but there needs to be more of an emergency, right? So don't be complacent. Please get out there and thank you for all you've done.
Tara also is one of the products of this whole financing campaign. She's been cracking the whip, and they appreciate all your help, both on the ground and in the pocketbook. So it's very important. And if you leave here today, there's some signs down in the lobby. It's a good time to put a sign up on your lawn, just to remind people it's time to vote. And there's no excuse not to vote. You can vote absentee. You can vote early. Early voting opened up this weekend. You can vote today at the city clerk's office until 2:30. You can vote all next week at City Hall, 8:30 to 4:30. Go to North Quincy High School next weekend, 8:30 to 2:30. Both Saturday and Sunday, you can still request a mail-in. Nikki Criswell, the city clerk, is awesome. Send her a text, send her a letter, send her a fax, she'll get you a ballot. And so, speaking of ballots, we're very fortunate that one of the people who can't be here, but usually joins with us, is my friend, the Secretary of State. And with all of your help, he had a great win in the primary. And I think that's because we all know that we run the best and the safest elections in this country. And it's in large part due to the Secretary and those of you who work the elections every day. I'm reminded that some of these states, they have election watches. They're all dressed up in fatigues and they're armed. I mean, they're not watching anything. They're trying to scare people away from voting. So we are very fortunate in this state that we have everybody votes, and that every vote is important. So we won't have the turnout we had 2 years ago, but we need people to turn out. We want to make sure the ticket wins from top to bottom. And I hope at the end of the day, my friend Secretary Galvin is the last man standing. Think about that for a minute. So, with any luck, we'll have a slate of women who will actually be all the constitutional officers, and there'll be one person on standing. I'll make this a couple brief introductions. Kim Driscoll, come on up. I've been impressed over the years when you find a governor who either has local experience or is smart enough to grab someone who has local experience. I think that's a great winning ticket, and I think we have that in this ticket, and we are going to win the election on November 8th. That's a great story, but I focused on, really, she began her career in municipal governance, an undergraduate intern while she was at Salem, the Salem Planning Department. Her drive and dedication would bring her to that city's planning director, guide her through law school, then the position as Chelsea's chief legal counsel as the city was coming out of receivership. She was there at a really tough time, so she saw how difficult it can be to run a city. Then she went on to the council and eventually became the mayor of Salem. She literally understands how municipal governments work from top to bottom. She knows how to lead, she knows how to listen. She understands the problems like affordable housing, reliable transportation, public safety, sustainable growth, and economic development, and I see on the news every day she understands how to control the crowd. So, please welcome our next Lieutenant Governor.
I'm so excited about being part of the Haley Driscoll team, and just want to say, if you're running for lieutenant governor and interested in that job, there's nothing better than to have an awesome and amazing governor, and I think we're going to have that in Attorney General Maura Healey. So we're really happy to be a part of it. Thank you, Karen, for being here. So excited to get to this work. I've been mayor in Salem since 2005. Really feel like when you're mayor, it gives you a great lens into some of the challenges we have in the Commonwealth. And as I like to say, there's no hiding when you're mayor, right? You're seeing your friends, your neighbors. Those of you who are in local government, you know this. You're seeing friends and neighbors, and you've got to make decisions every day. I think it tends to make you a better listener. I think it makes you more accountable. And I think it gives you this incredible sense of urgency. You've got to solve challenges on the ground in ways that people really rely on. When you think about local government, it's typically the branch you rely on the most. You know, educating your kids, keeping your neighborhood safe, investing in those places you make memories, wanting and urging and really leaning into economic prosperity for the place that you live. That's the experience that I have, and I like to say it's part of the Get Stuff Done branch of government. And again, proud to be partnered with Maura Healey, who I think is a Get Stuff Done Attorney General. And you put that combination together, and we are really optimistic and excited about the future of Massachusetts. This Commonwealth has amazing assets. When you're campaigning, you get to see every corner of this state. And for me, I see the uniqueness in our regions, the special attributes that our communities have. And you also see the things that knit us together. Like, too many places in Massachusetts, it's unaffordable to put a roof over your head. My own community in Salem used to be a place where, frankly, you could pour coffee and pour beer for a living and you know, afford rent. That's just like no longer the case, not only in Salem, but in so many other communities. When you're traveling around the Commonwealth, we're hearing a lot about the childcare gaps. Folks who want to get back to work, can't find childcare that's affordable. I, at one point, had 3 kids under the age of 5. I know that drop-off dance. I know how hard it is to find high-quality childcare, and I know how expensive it is. We've got to be able to focus on those things going forward. The transportation woes. We all read about the MBTA. I'm singing their praises this weekend and next because they have added trains. They're doing a great job serving Salem. But we know there are significant transportation woes ahead. And it's not just in the MBTA communities. When you're in Central Mass and Western Mass, folks talk about the fact that not only getting back and forth between Boston would be better, but you can't get back and forth around your own communities where we normally travel. How do we get better at that, knowing that we need to do that work to lean into the climate crisis? So while we're optimistic about the future, we're also, spot on what some of the challenges are. And that's because we've been on the ground in communities like Quincy, from Quincy to Springfield, Somerville to New Bedford to Lawrence. There's a lot of things that are unique, and there's a lot of things that knit us together. Make no bones about it, Maura and I are interested in not just settling. This is Massachusetts. We don't settle. We lead. We're the birthplace of so many things, from our own country to our first public transportation system, our first public library, our first public schools. We don't settle. We want to lean in and really lead in these efforts. And you couldn't be different from the other side of this ticket. Now, I know I'm talking to a room full of Democrats, but I have never seen the other side of the ticket, one who was backwards in the way they want to do that this year. Not enough experience, not committed to Massachusetts values, not the type of Commonwealth that we have either born and raised in or are raising our own families in. As we move forward and think about what's going to happen over the course of the next 17 days, we're relying on all of you. We want to bring people together. It's not enough just to win this election. We have got to run up the score and show that Massachusetts is a place that leans into values that put people first. And that's what's behind this campaign. Solving our challenges is not going to be easy. The next team who leads in January is not going to have a honeymoon. All of those things that we talked about, from housing to transportation to schools, I chair the Salem School Committee. Like, the kids are not all right. We have a lot of work to do as part of our post-pandemic efforts. That's the work that we're going to be doing together. We're excited and optimistic. We know our state legislature has given us some resources. We've got some federal dollars. How do we put them to good use to impact the quality of life in the places that people live? As a mayor, that's the work we want to champion. We know we can't have a thriving Commonwealth without thriving cities and towns. And frankly, we can't have thriving cities and towns without a strong state partner. So think about the next 17 days, what we can do to work together to make sure we not just win, but win big, and then be in a position to tackle those issues that matter the most to all of us and our families. Let's make sure the current generation isn't the first one to do worse than their parents. We have something to do about that.
with some gratitude. I just want to say thank you for being here, for what you're doing. The difference between Democrats and Republicans is we have a team. We knock on doors, we make phone calls, we talk to people. It's not enough for us just to express that we're doing the right things on social media. We actually do the work. So I want to say thank you for doing the work. The next 17 days, we're doing the work too. Maura and I are not listening to any polls or any pundits. We want to earn every vote, have a big victory, and put ourselves in a position to have the head of steam and the momentum to do the things that we know this Commonwealth needs. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for all the work that you're doing. Really appreciate it.
Michael's going to give them all away at once.
Yeah. I know.
So you all know what they're giving away? And
Cash.
And that, yeah. But it's made from Rogers Jewelry. It's a beautiful keychain of our seal of this city, so you will remember us and come back often.
You write a better red line, then everybody really appreciate it. So, and you have the right colors on for the North Quincy people here, it's black, but that's a long story too. I had a chance to work with Maura when she first came into office, and some of the advice that was given to me was you have to keep an eye on the overdoses, the opioid epidemic. And Maura actually came and sat down, and she has really run with it. She stood tall, especially against Big Pharma, and she was one of the people who, she didn't cave in, tough as nails. And I think that's important to have a fighter, have someone who will stand up. And as a civil practitioner and district attorney, I believe we have Andrea Campbell, a person who will fill that role as the next attorney general. And she's a fighter, and she refused to lose. Until she has found justice. From her childhood in Roxbury, marked with great loss and difficulty, she worked her way through Princeton University and then the UCLA Law School. She has fought to defend and protect the rights of children with disabilities, served as legal counsel to Governor Deval Patrick, was the unanimously elected president of the Boston City Council, and I'm sure you probably have to be out of there. Please welcome someone who knows how to fight, knows how to win, our candidate for attorney general.
Cable TV. First of all, thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you all of you for being here. I first want to start by congratulating Kevin on the honor that he's going to receive today. I told him when I walked in, "You look fabulous." He says, "My wife's dressed me." You look fabulous. But congratulations to you, and thank you for your leadership. Thank you to all of the electeds who are here, and frankly, all of Quincy. We had our hard-fought primary. We didn't take anything or anyone for granted. And there were many folks, I'm very candid with you, who suggested, don't spend a lot of time in Quincy. They tend to be a little bit more conservative. And I said, yeah. And I showed up in Quincy. We showed up over and over and over again. And we had the support of councilors, the mayor, Della Hunt. If you're recently at his court name recognition, everyone from Quincy was there. But the folks in this room really turned out for me in this campaign, and so I just want to start from a place of gratitude, really grateful to Quincy for everything you did to support me during the primary. And now we are not taking anything for granted. We have 17 days to go. I, like our next Attorney General, our next Lieutenant Governor, are not paying attention to the polls. If anything, we have an opportunity to really get out there and stress why these races are significant, especially the Attorney General race, which most refer to as a down ballot race. If you were looking at what's happening in this country, everything having to do with the Supreme Court, you should be concerned about this race. Everything having to do with our children. There's an uptick in suicide, depression, anxiety amongst young kids. We're seeing the same, of course, in the context of adults. Everything related to the opioid crisis and drug abuse. You should care about this race. All the things related to affordability, whether that's housing affordability, housing discrimination, the cost of prescription drugs, price gouging. There is a lot the AG's office can do in the context of economic prosperity. in really making sure, and I'll be very candid, that that prosperity is moving outside of the city of Boston to other communities as far as Berkshire County. I understand we are a Boston-centric state. I live in Mattapan in Boston, not far from here. But I get you're a Boston-centric state, and this is an opportunity to really get out of the city of Boston, to have real conversations about ways in which this office can help folks, including in the context of economics. And that's just scratching the surface of what we heard from constituents during the primary, and we continue to hear. And we've been stressing all the ways an AG's office can respond. The other thing I want to stress is I do have a Republican opponent who is not looking to take us backwards, but speaks about cities and urban areas as troubled communities, uses all types of rhetoric and stereotypes to describe us, is not for inclusivity or bringing people together, is really pushing this divisive narrative. And I've been stressing to my volunteers and folks who are door knocking and phone banking, we don't have to talk about the Republicans. What we have the opportunity to do is to go out into every community, even those places some deem to be purple or red, and suggest we don't show up. And I said, do Massachusetts residents live there? They do. Then show up. Because when we show up and have real conversations about the values that we stand for, which is integrity, bringing people together, operating with a sense of urgency and exceptionalism to deliver for our residents, and doing it in a way that is concrete, and speaking in specific terms of ways in which government can really help folks in their daily needs, we get them out to vote and we win. I have many Republicans who say, I'm going to vote for you because we showed up. And so I think in these 17 days that we have left, we have an opportunity to step outside of sometimes our spaces to really go into those other communities and pull them into the purple or the red communities. Because when we do that, we demonstrate what no one in this country is really able to do. That Massachusetts is not only a leader on the issues, but has the ability to really bring together communities, whether it's urban centers, rural areas, people of all different stripes and colors, bring us together to really get things done. So that's what I'm about, that's what this campaign is about. I'm excited to continue to get out there. I carry my nomination as a Democratic nominee for AG with humility, because I get the magnitude and the significance of the job. But again, look forward to doing it in partnership with all of you. Quincy, again, thank you so much for everything you did in the primary. 17 days, do not slow down. We'll continue to get out there. But thank you again for your leadership and for the partnership. Thank you.
She did have probably the toughest primary in the Democratic candidate. But don't worry, I still support all the Democrats. So I also wanted to say that I'm very fortunate that I didn't have an opponent, but if I did, I'd want someone as nasty as yours, because you talk about a distinct difference and a world of difference, that between you and your opponent. It's not just really your office, but you're the top of the ticket. We are completely different from another planet. So I wish you well, and I think that's very important. That distinction, I think, is going to help us in this race. And speaking of the race, so I thought that I may have a race, and so I left my campaign literatures on your table, and I went out and bought 12,000 new nail files. So my wife would be happy if you guys take them home, and you should be in nail files for at least the next 4 years. But if you can take them home, I would appreciate it very much. And speaking for help with the Democrats, Kevin Doyle is here from NAGE. NAGE is headquartered here. That's the right arm of the President David Holloway. David was just elected for another 4-year term as president of NAGE. He's been a great friend. Someone I've worked with in the legislature since the 70s. And David graciously allows us to use the NAGE building for our monthly meetings or whenever we need it. So thanks to NAGE and to David. We appreciate it, Kevin.
It's Kevin who does all the work.
Yeah, but I know we want to call David first.
I
We know who does the work, Kevin. We won't tell David that. So I also just want to say I'm a Ward 6 person in the north end of the city, and we get a chance to honor someone, one of our good friends, a labor leader for many years, and he's lived in the community for many, many years, and even married a local girl. So I went to the elementary school right around the corner from where Kevin Carter lives, and I want to thank you for bringing the entire precinct today, Kevin. So Kevin also told everybody in the Carter family for a free meal. I appreciate you coming. So I'd like to have my friend Bruce Ears, who also has worked closely with Kevin over the years. Kevin was our stalwart for many years, and Bruce is going to introduce our honoree this year. And is Diana here? I haven't seen her come in. Fine, she does. Make sure you let us know. Does anyone want to pass up? But I haven't seen her come in, so we're going to go right to the award winner.
Thank you, Mike. And I'd be remiss if I also didn't thank Suzanne Bump for being here this morning. Thank you for your friendship and support and the dedication to your job over the last many years. It's been a huge asset to all of us. Thank you. And to a formidable ticket of women this year with Mara Healy, Andrea Campbell, Kim Driscoll, great candidates that are going to do a great job as constitutional officers come January. I'm honored to have been asked to introduce our good friend in 2022, Dennis Ryan Award winner, Kevin Carter. I've known Kevin for a long time. He's a family man, devoted to his wife Betty and his children, a labor leader, and a community activist. He's always been a trusted friend and a go-to person for advice, and one of the best supporters you can have in your corner. For many years, Kevin has given so much time for our party and the city of Quincy. A skilled labor negotiator with a strong commitment to protecting the rights of his union brothers and sisters. Over the years, Kevin has been a constant presence in organized labor and served as business manager for Plumbers Local 12. He also served as president of the Labor Guild. And as a labor leader, Kevin utilized his knowledge and experience for the benefit of others. Over the years, he served on many boards and charities, including an appointment to the MWRA Board of Directors. He was appointed a commissioner of the Quincy Housing Authority. And throughout his career, Kevin has been recognized with numerous awards from the Labor Guild, the Boston Minutemen Council, and the Massachusetts AFL-CIO. Kevin has established a reputation over the years for the relationships that he's made and his networking ability on Beacon Hill, Capitol Hill, on the labor world. And his friendly persuasion and level-headedness has brought many a resolution to tense labor negotiations over the years. Kevin has provided us valuable leadership in our Democratic City Committee as well. He's a longtime member of the Ward 6 Committee and also served as chairman. And his efforts to expand worker rights and union opportunities have benefited countless working families, not just here in Quincy, but throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And his efforts on behalf of our Democratic City Committee and the Democratic Party as a whole has helped us move forward and elect Democrats at every level of government. He embodies the Dennis Ryan Award and the values and principles of the Democratic Party. I can think of no one better to receive this great award. Please join with me in congratulating the 2022 Dennis F. Ryan Community Service Award, Kevin Carter.
Alicia talked about one of our Ward Committee members who passed away recently, Pauline Stanton. And I don't know how many people know Pauline, but Pauline was 97 years old and still a member of our Ward Committee. always wanted to stay involved. She couldn't go out and put up signs, but she could help me on the phone. So they always hear phone calls to me. So we just wanted to recognize Pauline in addition to what was already said about her. She was a wonderful woman. And Quincy's blessed, as you all know, with a strong Democratic population and Democratic leaders, many of whom are here today. Without that, we wouldn't have been successful as we are electing Democratic representatives like Bruce Ayers, Mike Morrissey. Michael, when I moved into Quincy in the 70s, early 70s, Betty and I got married, Michael was running for state representative. And his dad, as many of you know, was a union pipefitter. And the unions got together and helped Michael and put up signs and did a lot of work. And Michael's going on to a great career in public service. And that's what the unions bring to some of our elected officials, the organizational help to run for office and get elected. And it's very important. And they've been very, very good to us in Quincy as well, with respect to doing a lot of work that we do in the, I don't know if the work that's being done in downtown Quincy is a lot of man hours for people in the building trades, all trades, carpenters, electricians, plumbers. And so we like to stay close to the communities that are doing building work, because that's our industry. And Quincy's been very helpful to us and all the elected officials with issues when issues develop in the city on construction. So I want to say thank you to everybody that's here tonight, today, this morning. I don't know if it's morning or night. But I think we have an extremely good relationship with the elected officials in the city of Quincy, as we do in the city of Boston. And I just want to thank you all for this recognition. I appreciate it very much, and I've enjoyed all my years on the board committee, and I'll still stay active and involved when I'm retired. Thank you very much. So, Michael reminded me that my wife couldn't be with us this morning, but I have a table here at home. I'm sitting.
You guys can sit down.
Yes, I'm just ready to get my.
We have no precinct today.
Yeah. So I have my daughter, Lisa. Also a member, right? Also, former member of the board committee. We're very parochial. We can have our own board here pretty soon. My sister Jill. Nancy Kent from Whitman. Star soccer player in Whitman. My granddaughter, Gabrielle. She may be a politician before it's over. I want to thank them all for coming, and I want to thank everybody here today for taking time out to be with us at this very important breakfast. Thank you. Oh, sorry, my sister-in-law, Mary Ann. My brother, John. You're never a former plumber, he's still a plumber. He's still a plumber.
Yeah, but we'd like to present you with an.
You didn't get any flowers? Okay.
I didn't think you cared.
Well,
I brought you your book there, the two of you.
Thanks.
Come out here.
orange.
And that
We are so pleased and proud to present you with this award. 34 years, we've been at this since, what is it? It's in the book. It's in the book. So with this, I'd like to present you with this as a token of appreciation for everything you've done for our committee and for our community. You're an amazing human being. Thank you for everything, Kevin. And we want to take pictures with the family at the end of the ceremony. Thank you. Oh, the senator is here. Yay. Okay.
Right on time, Diana. Sound looks good. I was very fortunate with Labor's help, and I hope we get them to continue that help in this election to put the Democratic ticket over the side. But I did very well with the piping trades. My father taught plumbing and heating at the vocational school and was the president of the Quincy local of plumbers and pipe fitters. And hopefully people like Kevin Carter, we have, I don't know that they're as good a labor leader as Kevin has been over the years, and that's quite, it's a difficult task, but we do have some great labor leaders in the state, and hopefully they will continue to support the Democratic ticket. I've also been fortunate enough to serve in the both the House and the Senate, and I know at times it can be challenging, and I know that as a district attorney, I'm not up to the ranks prosecutor. We do things a little bit differently, and the next candidate is a state senator, and she knows how to stand up and say a word or two when it's necessary, even when some people don't think it's necessary to. And I think I've lost the chairmanship and I've been sent to the attic on my occasion in both the House and the Senate. But Diana brings that outside perspective to the auditor's race. You see what it is like to as a single citizen going up against powerful forces and powerful people. And she knows all about it. She has shown at each step that she is not afraid to do what she believes is right. She's not afraid to take on the big fight, whether it is fighting for personal justice or fighting Columbia Gas to hold them accountable for the disaster they created at Merrimack Valley. She's a three-term state representative, has served in the state Senate since 2018. She had a tough fight to become our nominee for auditor, and it is my pleasure to introduce Diana DeZavio.
Opportunity to be here today. Thank you, Mr. DA, for that wonderful introduction. Thanks, Alicia, for organizing this today, and to everybody at TMS for organizing. I just want to take a moment just to recognize Kevin for his service and just say thank you one more time. We can't do anything that we do as candidates without supporters like Kevin and like all of you who continue to show up day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year to make sure that we are able to get our message out there. So thanks to Kevin and thanks to everybody here today for all of your hard work in helping us to get the message out. Also a special recognition to Auditor Bump, who I see in the room today. Auditor Bump, thank you so much for your endorsement in this race. I am going to work hard to build upon your legacy and the amazing work that you have done through the years as your next state auditor, but I won't be able to do that unless we get out there and get the message out about our candidacy, not just my candidacy, but the candidacy of all of us up and down the ballot. We still have a race on our hands, folks, and I don't need to tell anyone here this, but many times we know that people go to into the general election in November and think, well, you have a D next to your name, you're a shoo-in. I can't tell you how many times I have heard that. And it is concerning to me that I continue to hear that in these current times that we are living in, when we know that we are coming out of an 8-year Republican administration, and also, at the federal level, Donald Trump. And we saw what happened when we took for granted these elections and just assumed that because we're Democrat, that everybody's just going to go in and vote Democrat because they must have gotten the memo that we need to make sure that we uphold our shared values. But I want to make sure that we're reminding ourselves constantly about what is at stake, about our reproductive rights, about social justice across the board, about climate change, about economic justice, social justice across the board, protecting workers' rights, supporting labor and our unions, working families across the board. There's so much at stake right now in this upcoming election, and we know that during the midterms, it's a little bit more difficult to get people to come out to vote, right? To get those, folks inspired across the board who might be disenfranchised from what's going on in a day-to-day basis in state government, right? We know that we need to increase civic education. We know we need to get the word out there. But I just want to come here today to say that I'm so inspired to see all of you out today making sure that we continue to show up to get that message out there, because that's what it's going to take to make sure that we get the vote out on Tuesday, November 8th. It's going to take all of us continuing to show up, continuing to send those text messages, to send those emails, to post on social media, to get out, hold those signs, put the signs on people's lawns, slap the bumper stickers on your car, hand out the literature. It's going to take all of us getting that message out there and continuing to remind folks about what's at stake and about why we need to vote Democrat up and down the ballot, starting with Attorney General Maura Healey for governor, to Lieutenant Governor to-be Kim Driscoll, to Attorney General to-be Andrea Campbell, to making sure we re-elect Secretary of State Bill Galvin. And I, of course, hope to earn your support, Diana DeZoglio, for state office. And then please, let's remind people to make sure that they're going down the ballot. I see our state legislative delegation here. Please make sure that we are reminding folks to go out, make sure they check the box for their state legislators. We need to make sure that we are getting the word out there. And then question four, folks. Let's make sure we tell folks what's at stake. Working families deserve the opportunity to be able to drive to work, to be able to get to their immigration appointments, to be able to get to their health care appointments. So question four is really, really important. Question one, we voted in the state legislature for the Student Opportunity Act to make sure that we are fully funding our public schools so that kids across the Commonwealth, regardless of their family background, their bank balance, or their zip code, could get quality access to a great education. We voted to fund those priorities for the children in our communities. We need to make sure that we're able to meet those commitments, and making sure that we pass question one will allow that to be the case. So I just wanted to come here this morning to say thank you to all of you for your continued efforts, and to encourage us all to keep spreading the word, to keep getting the message out there, and to make sure that we are telling folks, look, there's a lot at stake. Make sure you go out and you vote Democrat on or before Tuesday, November 8th. Thank you so much for being here.
Diana's no stranger to Quincy. Danger was very instrumental in her win, and so she's a regular visit. I just got a couple quick things. Peter Collins, we have one last speaker, and the last shall be first. Peter, if you want to say a word or two, you're welcome to come up. Peter's running the only county commissions on the ballot this year. I would also like to say, come on, Peter, if you want a quick word. And I'd also like to say that a couple of brief things. I could use a vote too. I'm on the ballot. You have to ask for votes. Speaking of asking for votes, is with the recent appointment of Brian Plumwood promote you to a judgeship. There'll be a vacancy in Ward 4. And there's 2 candidates that I'm aware of. They're in the room today. Matt Lyons. Joel, come on, stop taking a static picture and wave to people. Come on. Joel Ventura. I don't know if there's any other candidates, but they're fortunate enough to come here today, and I just wanted to let people know what they look like. I anticipate the city will be setting the election date very soon, and we'll know what's going to happen. But they obviously have expressed an interest whenever that election is. And so, without further ado, the last speaker today is my friend Peter Collins.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, everyone here today. I will have the shortest speech, I promise. I'm from Milton. I'm running for re-election for County Commissioner. I've been at it 28 years. I've had the great pleasure to work with John Gillis and now Joe Shea. It's been an honor to work with your Clinton Elliott for the County Commissioners. It's been great working with Mike, Alicia, all of you. You've been so wonderful to me. I'm your neighbor in Milton, but I feel like I'm the adopted son of Quincy. I've been working in Quincy as an attorney for 36 years. I have my own practice in the Willard School, and my signs are everywhere. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, this is just one big thank you. You've been so wonderful. Thank you.
You'd like to thank him because he thinks you're going to vote for him. You got to vote for him. So he's putting down the ballot as well. My friend Greg Shanahan appears to be the big winner with Winnie coming to Weymouth as well. That should be a plus. But Greg is the town council, works hard for Deb Goldberg. Deb couldn't be here, but Greg is the representative of the treasurer who's in the room, and we appreciate your hard work. I know you're coordinating. We're going with the schedule that we're putting out. There's some visibility, there's some walking routes, there's some signs. Greg, Alicia, and the branching people are trying to get together, coordinate the campaign. We need people like that. He was foolish enough to run again. He was a district councilor, and then he left that, and he's foolish enough to be now a town councilor at large. But he's a great addition to the town of Weymouth, which actually governs itself as a city. So finally, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming in. Alicia will have a quick word I'd like to get you out of here today. Unfortunately, the Patriots on 1 o'clock. And finally, take a sign. There's a few signs in the lobby, and if you need more, we have more outside. We're trying to get some signs up with more visibility in the last couple of weeks. If Maura Haley and Kim win, it's going to go top to bottom. And remember, leave my friend Secretary Galvin as the last man standing.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for... Yes. He's going so damn fast. Michael, it's 20 past 11. We're doing awesome. Look at record time. You know what? We have so much food left because no one's eating, Michael. We're going so fast. We hope you will take seconds before you leave today. A couple of things. I do want to also recognize past recipients of this award that are in the room today. In 2003, Mike Berry received the award for demonstrating. MC Michael Morrison in 2007. Chuck Phelan in 2013. Chuck and Larry Cretion created this event 34 years ago. And we're still going strong. Thank you, Chuck. Joe Shea is here, 2017. Thank you, Joe. John Keenan, our senator, 2019. And my pal, Judy Capuano. Thank you, Capiaki, sorry. Thank you so much, Judy. Really appreciate it. Okay, with that, what else was I supposed to do? Oh, the 50-50. He's got me so proud. Last time I asked him, I'm telling you.
If you want to do a last call, if you'd like to get any 50-50 tickets before we draw them, this is for the Archie Waller Scholarship Fund. Just wave me over and I'll walk over before we draw them.
And while she's doing that, this was created, 5 years ago, the Archie Waller Scholarship, for our wonderful dear friend Archie, who passed away, I think it's 2 years ago now. He and Rosemary were just such wonderful community people. We have a plethora of them in the city, but we're losing them. But with that, we established a scholarship in his name. I will tell you what we have done, because if you recognize that word Wahlberg, he is the godfather of Mark Wahlberg. And when they learned of the scholarship in his uncle's name, he made an extremely generous donation, and we set it up as a separate entity, separate from the Quincy Dems. But we are on the board along with his Archie's son, Danny. And we continue to work with the Wahlberg family in providing this scholarship, $1,000 to a student from Quincy High and North Quincy High. And we're hoping that because of the generosity of Mark Wahlberg and his brothers, we can expand that to other high schools in our general area. So, with that, say that again, Michael, excuse me, Kevin, would you like to draw the ticket on the 50-50? Oh, I know.
My number is...
What's the number, Kev?
543
543
3444.
3444. 543 3444. Oh, Helen Irvin! Vice Chair from Ward 6. Another great Democrat. Long-time member.
So I'd like to let you know, another Ward 6 backdrop. Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate it very much.
And we sold exactly $400 worth of tickets. That 50-50 makes a $200 prize.
Wow, how generous. We collected $400. Thank you all so much. 200? Helen, where are we going? Oh, thank you, Helen. Thank you. A couple other things. Speaking of dear friends, also Mary Ann Mahoney, another longtime board member, has been ill. And we'd like to ask people to sign this card, remembering Mary Ann. She's another one like Pauline that was a stalwart in our committee for many, many years. So we'd like you to come up and sign a card so we can give this. Bruce Ears, thank you so much for thinking of doing this on behalf of Mary Ann. Okay, and the last thing is immediately following this event, and we're early. Michael, so early. But with that, we are going to canvass for the Ely Driscoll ticket this afternoon, starting at 12:30 from here. So if you're interested in canvassing before the rain starts, we're going to get it in before the rain starts. Please stick around, have more breakfast. We got to eat this food. And thank you all